Welcome back. So today we should be getting on with the Beetle, finishing off that welding that we spoke about the last time, and finally getting on with prepping the body and starting the paintwork. But we've got something else to do today, so our bay window. Now, it is MOT exempt, but we like to MOT our vehicles. The reason we MOT all our vehicles is, you know, it's always good to have someone to cast another set of eyes over it and make sure everything's good and functioning properly. Another reason I like to MOT them is they also get put on a brake tester, so we know all the brakes are good, they're all balanced and all the rest of it. So this afternoon we've got to take this for an MOT, so before doing that I'm just going to run around it, give it a pre-check, make sure everything's all right, make sure the lights are working, washers, wipers, etc. So better get on with that. Okay, so we've got the van up on the ramp, and so do a pre-MOT check on it. Now, I do advise you do one of these, and if you're going to do one, you might find this handy. This is a little book we do, which is service record, but also in it we give a guide to the MOT and what's required, and we also have an MOT checklist. So you can go around, check your own Beetle or bus, and tick off and say all the parts you've done. So yes, let's get on with it. Obviously, one of the other things you always have to look at, especially on old vehicles, is for rust. And we're extremely lucky with this van. If Nick can see up underneath here, this one is solid. But normally you would be looking for holes in the structure, the seals, panels, etc. But yeah, we've got no issues on this one at all. Right, also when you're doing it, it is handy if you have someone else with you when you're doing things like checking the lights, etc. So I'm going to jump in, run through the lights, and Nick's going to make sure everything's working for me. Okay, sides, head, up, down. If you want some more in-depth information on doing an MOT or an MOT pre-check, if you look on our previous videos, we've done a whole video that shows you all the points and all the bits that you need to go through. So I've checked everything on this, I'm happy, everything's working. So we're going to take it this afternoon, we're going to take it over to Camberley to St Georges Coachworks. The reason I go there is I know the guys there, they're used to working with old vehicles, so they understand what's required. So yeah, let's get out of the workshop and see what happens. Yeah, well, great, it passed, which was to be expected because we'd already made sure everything was okay. I have got one little advisory on an oil leak, which again I was aware of, but I need to look at that. So that's it, we should be getting back onto the Beetle now, but we have another little project to do, so let me introduce you to our next project. So, I don't know if you're aware, but this year is the 75th anniversary of the split screen van. And to celebrate that at Goodwood, for the Goodwood Revival, they're trying to get as many split screen vans as possible to open the track on each day of racing. Now, we're working alongside the team at Goodwood, and for this event, they asked us if we could source them a van that they could use themselves. So we found this one, which is a very clean, very tidy 67 panel van. They have also asked us to do a little bit of work on it, of course. So if we look inside, for instance, someone started putting an interior into it. So we've got to strip all that out and get it back to being a panel van. There are a few other little bits and pieces we need to do. We don't actually know a lot about the history on this vehicle, unfortunately. We bought it off a trader who'd purchased it off the customer who'd restored the van. As far as we know, he'd spent about 4 years restoring it, and just before he finished, he had to unfortunately sell it on. So there are a few little snagging jobs we need to do. We need to go through the brakes, make sure they're all right, service the engine, etc. Make sure that it's all up, good, ready to go around the track at Goodwood. So I'll get this one in the workshop next. Right, well, it really is a nice van. This is going to look so good going around the track at Goodwood for the revival. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get on, crack off the rear hub nuts, crack off the wheel nuts, get it up in the air and have a look at the brakes, make sure everything's good in the rear drums and the front drums. There we go, we were lucky. Both hub nuts came undone without any fuss. Okay, well that all looks all right, all looks new, so I think we'll just clean that up a little bit and put the drums back on and adjust it all up and we should be good. Yeah, shoes just need cleaning up and it just needs adjusting up by the looks of it because it's only been rubbing, it's only been working there, none of the shoes been touching the drum, just that little bit there, so we'll get that sorted. Okay, so you can see we've pulled the boot back and there's brake fluid sitting in there and a bit of rust, so we're going to have to replace the wheel cylinder. I'm going to have a proper look at it. I may just replace all 4 front wheel cylinders to be safe. Keep it all balanced as well, rather than having, say, 2 new wheel cylinders and one old one, and we might get a braking balance. So, yeah, I think I'll just replace all 4 wheel cylinders and be done with it. Okay, we've got the classic scenario here. The top, both adjusters are actually seized up. When you assemble up the brakes, you should always use copper slip on these to stop these seizing. So I can't actually back these off because they're locked up. So what I'm going to have to do is knock them round with a hammer and a punch. Or there we go, it's got it moving. There we go. There you go, you see the brake fluid that's weeping out of those cylinders. And then this side, if you have a look there, Nick, you can see we've got rust in there as well. So that's why we're going to replace them. We have another little issue. Can you see this, Nick? So that is the remains of the little spring clip that sits against the adjuster and stops the adjuster undoing, so we're going to have to replace that as well. So this is one of the reasons we always say drive your car regularly. If you leave them parked up and you get moisture and damp in, etc., things like wheel cylinders, you see that's completely seized up, that one. There we go. So, yeah, even if you're not using your car on a daily basis, you should take it out every couple of weeks, just take it for a spin around the block. It stops things like that seizing up. Right, well that's the back plate off and yeah, the clip's broken off and the back plate is also a little bit rusty, so we're going to replace it. Okay, so we've got all the brakes built up, new shoes, wheel cylinders and the new pipe. Same on the other side, so they're all ready to go. At the back, all I've done is cleaned up the shoes and checked the adjusters were all free and moving and they're all good. So we're just going to get the drums back on, get the brakes bled out, get it all adjusted up and we should be good to go again. Okay, so we're going to pressure bleed the system out rather than doing it with a bottle. The reason I'm pressure bleeding it out is because I can do this on my own rather than with the help of someone. So if you've got compressed air, these are an ideal little tool to do because you can bleed all your brakes out very simply on your own. Right, so it doesn't appear to be pumping up, so I'm pretty sure all the air's out. There's too much travel on the pedal still, so I'm just going to go around and adjust up all the brakes again, and maybe just adjust the pedal up a little bit more. But say that's not pumping, so I'm pretty sure all the air's out. Yes, it's better than it was. Right, okay, handbrake's all adjusted, brakes are all bled out, so what we need to do now is go for a test drive. But if Nick has a little look at this, before we go for a test drive, I need to sort this problem out, which is rather interesting when you try and change gear. Now someone's put a quick shift plate in here, I'm not sure what they've done there. I also suspect that we're possibly missing the pin out of the bottom of the gear stick, so we're just going to take the gear stick out. See if we can stop this rotating. Why was that rotating? So still trying to work out why the gear stick keeps popping out, and I thought I'd better have a look at the coupling at the back, and if Nick can shine up here, I don't know if you can see this, Nick. So someone's bolted it through, well, it's all perished and collapsed, and someone's bolted it through. But also, if I turn it, you see that? It's moving on the shaft at the back. So it should be rotating the shaft on the gearbox, and it's actually just moving. So we're going to have to replace that. There we go, Nick. You can see that it's all perished. And as I say, someone's bolted through to hold the two bits together. Right, we're going to do a little experiment for myself here. We normally do the couplings like the one I've just taken out, but this is the sort of urethane heavy duty coupler that EMPI do. Now, I've never used one of these, but these are meant to give you a more positive shift. So as it gives me the opportunity, I'm going to fit this and just see how it feels, how it performs. So yeah, we'll stick that on instead of the rubber style shifter. Well, there we go, finally got the gear stick sorted. I spent so long just staring at it, pondering, trying to work out what was wrong, that Nick actually got bored and went off and did something else. So whilst looking at it, I came to the conclusion that when the floor was replaced in this, it hadn't been quite put in the right place. So after a bit of looking and a bit of measuring, I adjusted the floor, or just gave it a few good cracks with a club hammer, and got the gear stick in the position it's meant to be, and we now have gears without the gear stick falling out. So we're all done. Just need to lock wire those bolts in on the gear coupling and do the rear hub nuts, put split pins in there, and then we can take it for a test drive. Yeah, so see you next week, and hopefully we'll have some progress on this van.